10:21, Monday. I'm really starting to think about that book idea. I've got the plot figured out. I've had this idea since high school, and it's a killer plot. I just, have no idea how to write dialogue, and I've never really been good at that, and that's pretty important within a book. My dialogue always sounds so forced. I just can't get properly into each character's head enough for them to chat with each other without it all sounding like one person, which is me. I'm loosely looking into word counts and plot structures, though. It would be a fun hyperfixation for a while, at least. I have no real publishing ambitions. I write journals, for God's sake, and I'm struggling with those. It would be nice to have written a book at some point in my life. And I'm trying to fill my time so I don't just want to smoke weed. All thoughts. I'm working on a pair of jeans with butterflies stamped on them. I'm making the jeans bigger and adding hand-painted butterflies to it, but I tried them on today, and there's no amount of widening that I can do to account for my hips in these pants. Makes me feel fat. Right now, I am a little fat. I ate 2 bowls full of pumpkin cookies in a week, so I'm under no delusions. But I'm doing good, aside from the cookie succumbing, at eating more within what I actually burn in a day. I'll get there. Pumpkin cookies were a goal of mine this year, so I don't really feel bad about it. Nothing very exciting today, other than binging Halloween Town movies while working on my clothing modifications. I painted the back of my red panda shirt and my sunflower shirt too. My 2 Fargo shirts, I'm just realizing. Gotta get some South Dakota stuff now. Do I throw out shirts from a place my family doesn't live anymore? More thoughts. I won't though. They're too broken and unfamiliar. I need bigger pants. All my old ones were for my size when I was unhealthily skinny, which, I'm growing to learn, was a size that I'm used to seeing myself now. I'll find some middle ground and stop complaining about it. It's such a boring subject. My little idle cat game is doing its best to situationally coerce me into spending real money for the fake money to make progress without days or weeks of work between each rewarding step. I won't do it. Maybe I'll just get bored of the game. That's all for tonight. Hopefully a grocery trip tomorrow so that I'll have the bread for PBJs. Louise out. 10:22, Tuesday. Today was a sad one. I got sent home sick from work and hung around the house napping and thinking of what to do. I painted for a few hours and that was about it. Something about not being at work when I'm supposed to really makes me think a lot about everything and how dissatisfied I am. I feel confused and not ready to face my angry coworker tomorrow. He hates covering for me when I'm gone, and I did see he's moved a bunch of things back to their dumb spots, so I know he's feeling petty about it. It's just a day, right? I shouldn't quit my job for fear of him, right? Paula's going to be switching jobs, hopefully by the end of the year, so now would be the worst time to quit, and I don't want to do anything else. I'm just very scared. 10:23, Wednesday. Well, work was scary, but okay. It wasn't smooth sailing, but I put on my kind voice and my ditzy act and got by just fine. I'm almost ready to just make friends with Toenail and keep stupid peace all day. If he weren't such a villain, it'd be easier for me to make that choice. He's the type of guy that defends a toxic ex-boyfriend's creepy behavior. He's the type of guy that remembers he's supposed to be mad throughout the day and returns to it. He's the type of guy that defends sexually abusive parents so long as they provided clothes for their kids. Pretty hard to be friends with him. But I'm about ready to try for the sake of my sanity. I also overheard my coworker telling my Mormon boss that she's going to heaven, and after a beat he said, "Keep up the optimistic thinking." I started listening to It today, and Stephen King is truly a master of his craft. He just crafts with such terribly dark materials in a lot of his best books. I wish that some of his stories didn't involve gruesome child deaths and violations. Guess I'm glad he's really a decent person in real life, or it would be a lot scarier. A coworker of mine listens to true crime and said that she wants to meet the killers because she thinks they're good people underneath all the poor choices. That is the kind of thing that scares me about true crime. Idealizing and fetishizing people who've killed into beaten puppies that just need rescuing. YouTube's probably never gonna monetize this one. Does monetization work retroactively? I'm far from worrying about that yet. After work, I voted, and it took 2 hours to read everything in the pamphlet. A lot of things are so crazily worded, and their effect is so deeply connected with other things that it's hard to even sort out which choice best supports the kind of things that I'm trying to support. It all gets so convoluted so quickly, and the whole time I was trying to fill in the bubbles, my little cat was trying to sleep on the paper. I eventually made her a trade and placed the ripped open envelope in front of me, and she accepted that offer and promptly passed out like a little baby on top of it. I did my best on that, and then I painted rocks and cats on a climbing tank top that I have. I'm basically deciding I want my wardrobe to look more handmade, so I'm painting like all of my shirts and a lot of my pants. I'm embroidering and sewing things too. It'll be a process, not a single push. I'm already well into it though, and I love the stuff that I did earlier this year. I'll be slowly thrifting an updated wardrobe once I finish reinventing the clothes I already have. Nothing like not having absolutely any extra spending money to spend for a year to break the habit of spending money, even on things I could really justify, like a new pill case. I've lost 2 of my 7 days in the cars of my cousin and my parents. I basically trail pill containers like glitter, marking where I've been. After I finished painting, it was just dinner and scrubs time. Half a PBJ today, and Louise out. 10:24, Thursday. I'm pissed off again at Toenail, just for never being busy while I run circles around the lab all day just to keep my desk manageable. But work was fine, other than the running around like my head was chopped off just to keep up. I'm really getting into this book. Any notion that I have of writing a book goes away totally when I read good writing, like Stephen King's writing. He can so seemingly effortlessly encapsulate you into each horrific or suspenseful moment that it feels like there's more than just words in the pages. There's a kind of spirit to it. You get haunted by his writing in multiple senses. Good writing looks easy because it feels easy, but try to do it and suddenly you've never described a single thing well in your entire life. It's really only bad writing that makes me want to write, because my writing will certainly be much closer to bad than to Stephen King levels of good. I'm still pretty gripped by the book idea. I just need to give it some ruminating time. I'll be going to the mountains with my friend next weekend, and we may make it kind of a writing retreat because she hurt her knee pretty bad last week. Not much hiking in our future, but we have the hotel and the time off. I think the real trick to writing good dialogue is to be able to inhabit another kind of personality without just parodying it. I can barely even change my tone in writing, so it's no wonder dialogue is my biggest hurdle. I understand how to dissect tone, and I know word choice is the core of it, but my probably slightly autistic little brain likes to use the most correct words to get the point across exactly as I understand it. It can be a little clinical, and then my personality comes through trying to make jokes, and my humor lands too sharply. And I just rub people as kinda mean and judgy. I think I can be kind of mean and judgy, but only about as much as the next person. My mom's told me I'm scary before, though. She also told me once that she couldn't make friends easily because people read her quietness as snobbery, and I didn't get it as a kid, but I totally get it now. And sometimes, I can be a bit snobby. I think the root of it is rejecting people first mentally if I perceive they might reject me. I actually judge very few people who actually show interest in getting to know me. Made for some toxic relationships though, I'll tell you that much. I don't know where this rant started, but I'll wind it up now. After work, I painted a bit of a Warhammer mini and made dinner. I tried a new recipe that was just spaghetti squash cut in half, 2 blocks of feta put in each half, a couple of halved grape tomatoes on top, and then some drizzled olive oil and pesto and just an hour in the oven. Super healthy, super delicious, hella easy to make and to clean up after. My kind of dinner right there. A pretty normal but happy day. 1 PBJ and Louise out. 10:25 Friday. So one of my best friends is currently ghosting me. I uninvited myself to a mutual friend's wedding that was this last weekend. So I re-downloaded Instagram so I could see her wedding photos because I still care, obviously. But then I saw that my friend had posted 2 things about that wedding, and even though she played a huge role in my wedding, she never put anything from mine on her socials. This is why I got off Instagram in the first place. This is not something I rationally should care about. It's meaningless and petty to care for, and I'm empty in my chest now. If she were still texting me, it would still hurt, but now it feels personal when I know it has nothing to do with me. Social media sucks. It only makes people feel lonelier and hate themselves more. Prove me wrong. You can't. I'm mad and sad and hurt and trying not to hurt and wanting to reach out again and wanting to never text her again. It's not like I haven't been vulnerable and honest with her our whole friendship. I'm harboring hate. I don't like hating things. But reading through my journals, I also claim that I want to be happy. Then when I am, I feel mostly disappointed in myself for being happy. Brains are dumb. I have a dumb little monkey brain that wasn't built for the social structures that the internet built. We were never meant to see people again after we moved. Maybe we'd write letters, but that's all. We were meant to spend our days surviving, not critically thinking about every passing emotion like it's a new permanent state. Maybe that one's just me. This feeling sucks, that's all. I should go back to editing. Between my crowded mind and my lagging computer, editing is not going smoothly. I just texted my friend. The last text I sent was in July, and it said, "Have I done something to make you upset with me?" I sent that after a long period of no contact. I just sent a, "Hey so-and-so, what's going on?" And I should certainly not put many quotes from texts in my internet public journal. Just thought that I'd set that up in case there's a conversation and I journal about my feelings from the conversation. I'm terrified there won't be a conversation. I'll cry. I'm close to crying already, it's not a stretch. Some of the hardest crying I've done this year was in the bath, water already cold from how long I'd stayed there, trying to put myself together after a painful and sharp cutting off of that previously mentioned former friend. So basically, she and I were just never close, and we were forced by our mutual friends into the same tight-knit friend group, and after years of miscommunications and not clicking, I had a night of enough painful occurrences that I just removed myself from that friend group. All at once and all of a sudden. I don't want to get into it. No one did anything wrong exactly, but it was really, really bad, and I'm still not recovered from my own actions. I don't regret that, but I do regret the timing and the drama that inevitably followed. I truly tried my best to keep drama down, but we're all human and drama occurred. The friend I'm reaching out to now put herself in between the former friend and I believe that it's still waves from that whole sticky situation that are echoing in our communications the rest of the year. All of that happened literally on New Year's. It's been most of a year, but the older I get, the shorter a year is in emotional rebounding time. Whatever. I'm not trying to dredge up old pain, and I am emotionally resilient with so much. But friendship troubles have been my Achilles heel since I was 6, I think. I don't know exactly why, but when I was 6, my appendix burst and I spent a month in the hospital, and years of therapy have led me to believe that I got abandonment issues around that time. My mom slept in the uncomfy hospital chair next to me every night, but my kindergarten class thought that I had died, and from that day on, I was emotionally an outsider to my peers. Maybe I was before, and surely I manifested that reality, but who can really say? I've got loads of stories of my abandonment issues from friends. A harmless one was when I was like 10. My friend across the street said that she couldn't play, but I knew she had another friend over and we were constantly at each other's houses, but she wouldn't open the door and, listener, I started crawling through her doggy door. Not a proud moment. Her oldest sister caught me and called me weird and a creep, and I cried on my mom's couch for the rest of the day. In ways, I still haven't recovered from that either. Combine all of these issues with moving around and feeling already different, and then my lack of ability to make new friends, and you have an emotionally raw nerve when it comes to losing established longtime friends. Even friends of friends that I cut off myself. Big ol' yikes recipe. I'm sure I'll check in again later. Wish me luck. 10/27, Sunday. I didn't journal last night. It was a decent day, but I'm being swallowed alive with sadness over this friendship thing. On Friday, I followed up my previous reaching out of what's going on with I'd like to open up a dialogue. And no text back. All day, Friday. No text back. All day, Saturday. I kept going as long as I could bear without checking my phone. And every time I checked my phone, my stomach sunk again. By the end of the night, I'd worked up quite a stomachache. Then I went on roller coasters and felt better. Paul and I had never been on roller coasters together, and it was a warm, rainy night, and that was really neat. We also went to a Halloween party that had the most impressive charcuterie I'd ever seen. The truffle goat cheese was my favorite. We had some good conversations at the party and some fun times at the amusement park, but I just couldn't get completely out of my head. I relapsed with weed on Friday and Saturday. I really tried not to, and it was a choice too, but it was the best way that I could distract myself from the dull agony of waiting for a text back that may never come. Woke up today feeling sad because weed makes me sad and because there was still no text. I cleaned with Paul and then painted. I finished my painting. Low-key felt nothing though. And then I tried to do more video editing, but the computer was giving me grief, so I stopped. Between painting and video editing, I got a text back. I really cannot go say the whole conversation, that feels wrong. But the text back was to the effect of, I will reply, but I need time to gather my thoughts. And I don't know. I wish she said that 2 days ago. My weekend was really wasted on stress over this. I wish she said that 3 months ago, when I reached out last and first got ghosted. I've been anxious and sick over it since then and went through all this waiting back then too. I'm at the point where I'm skeptical she has any reasons that are good enough to warrant this. It feels like she just isn't willing to put time into the friendship right now. I wish I could think about and talk about something else. My heart is all in this though. I hope that my coworker pisses me off tomorrow so that I can be distracted for a day. Dinner was stir fry, and we had apple pie for dessert, and I can't believe it's already time to go to bed for work. The more weekends that pass, the shorter they feel. Louise out.